Go on and set up your space. And begin, as always, with some reflection and a little meditation. You might want to bring a blanket or a cushion or anything to help you get cozy nearby you. Maybe you sit on the blanket or cushion or whatever it is. Maybe you wrap yourself up. We'll take a couple moments to really settle in and gather what we need. And let's take this time to compartmentalize a little bit, to just enter this space and clear away anything that may be coming up for us. How do we clear that away? Anything that comes up, well, we first acknowledge it. So maybe you reflect upon your day or week, just the general moments that brought you to this moment. And then as you think of all the moments that brought you to this moment, let's actually enter this moment. What's happening right now? Okay. We will be working with the archetypes from 2 cards today. 1 card that I pulled and 1 card that just jumped out of the deck when I shuffled, so I thought it wanted to be seen. This is the one that jumped. Priestess of Swords. Let me move my light source here. So I'm gonna allow you to use your own sense of perception to notice this imagery. And I'm just going to point out her open hand. And the distance in the horizon. And then the card that I pulled is the Star. Here's what they look like together. And I'll leave these held up here as you find a comfortable seat for us to meditate. And you are welcome to gather anything you might need and set up. Maybe you sit against a wall. And just notice the color scheme here. And the solitary female figures and the bird figures. The icy background and the lustrous live full of different types of plants. And get into your body here. We'll start with the Star and see if we can embody this sense within us. So coming into your seat, you can close your eyes like the woman in the image and come into your breath. Come into the rising and falling of your inhales and exhales. And do a scan of your entire body. We'll start with the outer parts, our skin and hair. Noticing the temperature and textures of the air and the clothing and anything else that's touching our skin. Feel the connection we make with our surroundings. And deepen it. Deepen it through your own awareness, or perhaps through your own breath. Sinking in, becoming submerged in your surroundings, in your own room that you're practicing in your own space that you set up for yourself. We'll notice our outer layer, our shell, our skin, very soft shell. We'll notice our skin for the next few breaths. Feeling that soft shell, that vulnerability, that permeability. We'll take a deep breath in and out together. And we'll stay seated here with our eyes closed. We begin to imagine that we're seated in a pool made for us, like a little spa. Continuing to breathe, allow the breath to be expansive, big inhales, big exhales, almost dramatic with the way your rib cage bursts out in your belly. As you breathe in all the air, all the oxygen, and all the prana, and let it back out, feeling this cycle. So deep breaths, imagining we're in a little spa, little pool, just made for ourselves. Whatever you consider the perfect size. And you're sitting right there. Also see if you can imagine and maybe even hear sounds of nature around you. And sights of nature. and the colors and the smells. See if you can imagine yourself a sensory experience with this pool and this abundant, beautiful, green, floral, colorful surroundings. This is the type of energy connected with the star. The archetype of this card, let me back up a little bit. Numerically, it falls right after the Tower in the Major Arcana. It's number 17. It's interesting because the Tower is a card that we've been working with the past couple of weeks. And it seems that we have moved on to the next one, which is when you're just sitting in all of this new, fresh growth and abundance. And you're able to soak up the experiences and the lessons that were provided by the Tower, by whatever upheaval and collapse, whatever lessons you learned from the Tower. We're all kind of just sitting in it now with this star, with the glory and the peace and the beauty. And if you follow Hindu traditions, you can think of Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance and good fortune. And if you work with Hindu archetypes, you can also think of Durga or Kali from the Tower. That destruction, that upheaval, the remover. And here we are, sitting in the aftermath of it all. A moment to breathe and be in your own luxury. Be grateful for what remains and what can grow new. We will sit in our little pools here and take time to really count our blessings. You might literally count them and actually list out things that you are grateful for. Whether it be something that was able to stay throughout any chaotic upheaval experiences you've had, or maybe something new that's begun because of it. As I speak, I'm realizing that latter seems a lot more true. Because when it comes to this upheaval, even if something remains throughout the experience, it doesn't mean it remains the same. There is change and transformation that happens. So actually, instead, let's think and have some gratitude for any new bits of abundance for us, any new gifts that we've received. We'll give ourselves about a minute for this gratitude practice. We'll take another breath. With your next inhale, slowly raise the arms up above over you. Might take more than one breath to get them up there. Good, reaching and stretch a little bit, maybe leaning, bending one arm at a time. Maybe moving the head a bit. Good, and as you shift your weight, you might notice your seat on the floor. With our hands out of our imaginary water, let's inhale deeply. And then exhale, bring the hands through heart center, palms touching. Good, inhale, spiral them back out, sweep them out and up. Exhale to center. We'll do 3 more together. Inhale up and out. And exhale. Good, inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale through the mouth, big sigh. Good, settle the hands, resting the knuckles of the thumb at the chest. We'll pause here. Feel the beat of your heart, if you can, as you really press, connect with your own pulse, your own rhythm, your own flow that exists within you. Feel all the movement that happens as you inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Bow the head towards the hands and pause here. As you settle in with this little bow, you might notice the back of the head's getting a little bit of a stretch. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Bring the space between the shoulder blades together just a little bit. And notice how the shoulders are over the hips. Good. Feel this sense of turning inward into your own heart as we counted our blessings. Feel this sense of gratitude heating up. Then we'll begin to rub our hands together, create more heat. Good, and then slowly lift the head back to center. Feel the heart, bring the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades together, lift the heart up a little bit. We'll come to a little back bend. When you feel like your hands are nice and warm, we'll lift them up and inhale and open up, a little back bend. Notice how the hands feel. Good, breathe it in through the heart and hands. Exhale, straight spine back to the center of the heart with the hands. Just notice how the palms feel from one to the other. Notice any sensations that lie here. Good, sealing in this meditation, we'll take a deep breath. And then we'll get to our embodiment portion. Let's get any wiggles out that we might have. So this could be individual to you. You might want to do a standing forward fold if your legs feel like they want to stretch, or maybe it's a seated forward fold. Maybe it's a downward dog. Maybe it's cat-cows. I will give us all like 1 minute to just kind of wiggle around, get any movements that we need to. But the rest of practice will be pretty still and more yin. So if you have like some energy that needs to be moved, just feel free to do it now. Good, about 5 more breaths. And we'll meet ourselves and one another in a child's pose. Get there when you're ready. You might use a prop, something to support your heart or belly, or seat perhaps. Pillows are nice. And then as you're getting into your child's pose, feel the reverberance of that movement that we just did. Feel the response. It was a little form of upheaval. We got out of our meditation, we uprooted ourselves. And then settle back in. This time really noticing your hips as you open up from your child's. Noticing the belly and the pelvis. Good. And we'll deepen our breath and center it, focus it to our lower belly, our sacral region, and our root. So feeling not just the front of the belly, but also the part that is supported behind it. Feel your sacrum, your very low back, the lumbar spine, the coccyx, the tailbone, the glutes. Noticing the hip joint and the flexion of your thighs as you're sinking. These exhales, you might really notice that sink. As you continue to breathe, allow your awareness to spread out. You might notice your legs and the sense of support. Noticing all the parts of you that touch the body here, or the floor, I mean, all parts of the body that touch the floor. You might begin to notice the length of your spine and the side body and the shoulders and arms. Allowing the arms to reach forward, really stretching through the length of your base of the spine to the fingers. We'll bring our hands up and over to the left side and then sinking back down, getting a little side body stretch here. We'll give ourselves a few breaths here. You might even allow some movement through the spine or rib cage as you inhale, like a little lift to flow. Feel the right side body lengthening and the left side body shortening. We'll take 3 more breaths here. As you're ready, move through center and take a breath in the middle. And then when you're ready, go up and over towards the right now. And settle in. Notice how this side feels. Good. Another breath. And then bring it back through center. As you come back to center, really notice the forehead coming onto the floor. You might rock your head from side to side and feel the weight of the forehead grinding into the ground. And then if it's in your practice, you can raise your hips and bring the top of the head to the floor. Remaining safe in your own capabilities, protecting the structure of your neck, just noticing the sensation at the top of the head. You might roll it around a little on the floor. Good, and from here we'll transition to just come straight onto our belly. So we'll lengthen our legs, bring our pelvises down. You might rock a little bit from side to side and then settle in. So as you're on your belly, you might stack your hands and bring your forehead on the ground, on your hands rather. Or you might rotate in the neck, bringing a cheek down. You're welcome to use any pillows that you might have or a folded blanket. And let's give ourselves about a full minute to just lay on our bellies and scan our bodies and just notice our sensations. Good. With your next breath, center your awareness to your lower body from the waist down. Really notice the inhale in this region of the body. Notice what happens when you exhale. See if you can really sink down through the tops of the feet, the tops of the thighs, the pelvis, the lower abdomen. And take another breath, noticing the lower body. And with your inhale, bring the awareness through the center of your chest to your heart. And then we'll begin to lift ourselves up to a Sphinx pose, bringing our forearms to the floor, elbows under our shoulders. Good. So maintaining that stillness and that sturdiness in the lower body. Feel a solid foundation as we open up our hearts. We'll give ourselves about 5 to 6 breaths in our Sphinx pose, noticing the shoulders away from the ears, the backs of the shoulder blades coming together a bit, and any rising and falling with our breath. Good. With your next exhale, bring the awareness back to the heart again. And then as you inhale, notice the throat, and you might even lift the chin. Good, you can soften the jaw. Maybe you stick the tongue out. Breathe in again. Breathe out. Good, one more breath. Good, and then we'll rest, we'll come back down. You might bring a cheek down or the forehead. Take a couple moments to rest, arms down by your sides. Notice how it feels to reconnect that heart downwards. And after we lifted and exposed it, how does it feel to come back down and sink back into it? Good. Bend your knees to lift the feet off the floor, and then just drop your feet from side to side. So noticing the pelvis and the little massage we get in the fronts of our thighs on the floor. If you have your cheek turned to one side, you can flip it the other direction. Noticing the twist in the neck, continuing to drop from side to side. Begin to slow down the pace in which you're moving, in which your windshield wiper legs are going. Good, slow down the pace even more. Really grinding down and noticing all the subtle shifts, all the different parts of the thigh that connect in the tops of the hips and the knee. And then when you're ready, we'll lengthen our legs. Maybe curl the toes under and kind of straighten through the bottoms of the feet. Get a little stretch there. Maybe some ankle rolls. And then we'll settle the tops of the feet back down onto the floor. Good. And we'll take a few breaths to notice our lower body again. From the waist down, sinking and rooting and breathing. Good. With the next breath, really roots down with the exhale. And then with your inhale, return to Sphinx. Good. Return to your heart opener, your back bend. Feel the forearms on the floor. Feel the crown of the head lifting up. Inhale. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Good. Feel the twist in the neck. Root down in the left elbow. Good. Feel the twist in the neck, and you might twist a little bit more by lifting and shuffling the forearms over to that right side. You involve more of the entire upper back here. Again, remaining rooted in the lower body, just allowing the movement and stretch to be in the upper body. You might feel your lats and obliques. Deep breaths. Good. Really notice the inhale and the exhale. Good. Come through center and then go the other way, starting in the neck and then going to your own comfort level. Being nice and slow and intentional with it. Good. Notice the next breath. Great. Come back through center. Big inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Coming back down, we'll bring our arms out like a T, palms facing down, and we'll bring a cheek to the floor. Good. With your arms spread wide like this, really notice the space of your heart. Notice the shoulders and the heart in line with the hips and groin. And we'll bend our right knee outward like a figure 4, bringing that inner thigh to the floor. Good. And settling here. So we can discern how far that knee goes. And we might even bring a pillow somewhere to support, maybe by our pelvis. And you might have the right cheek down, or maybe if you want kind of a twist and an opposing motion from side to side, you could go the other way, with the right knee to the right and the gaze to the left. And we'll give ourselves a decent amount of time here to really sink into this side of our inner thigh, our groin, our pelvis, and any other sensations that arise for us. Good. Notice the next breath. Breathe it in through the nose and out the mouth. Good. Come back through center. Make any micro adjustments or movements, intuitive movements you want to make. Maybe another little heart opener, perhaps a little mini cobra. And then when you're ready, settle back down. Notice those arms spread wide. And then open up the other hip. So we'll do the left side now. Good. Notice the next breath. Breathe it in through the nose, out the mouth. As you're ready, come back to center. Maybe another little baby cobra, a little heart opener. And whenever you're ready, roll like a log over to your back. Once you get to your back, you might hug your knees into your chest or make any other little adjustments that feel right. As we're transitioning, we'll root down and meet one another with knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Your choice, the knees might drop in towards one another or not. Let's bring our hands on the tops of our thighs or hips. Whatever feels right. Maybe even sides of our abdomen or belly. Just connect with this lower region of yourself here and feel the hand placement, the texture of your clothing, the temperature of your hands and your body. Feeling the weight of your hands. Feeling any tension that exists in your hands. Or maybe your hands feel the tension that exists in your body. can move our awareness beyond this region here. Notice the entire body. Doing a full scan of it. And then settling in to noticing the head. Notice the muscles of the face, the jaw, the scalp. Noticing your ear holes, your nose holes, your eyeballs, your mouth, our sensory receptors. The parts of us that help us perceive our surroundings and our world. Maybe you use them. You might notice what you hear, or notice if you can identify any smells, or maybe there's a lingering taste in your mouth. Your eyes might be closed, or maybe they're open and you notice what you see. Noticing all of these input parts of us, what we perceive and enter, and it goes to our brains as we make sense of it, as we rationalize it, as we identify it, whatever the senses are telling us. This act of recognizing our own processes leads us into the Priestess of Swords. It's called that in this deck. It's also called Queen of Swords or Mother of Swords. The swords ruled by the element of air. If you practice astrology, you can think of the energies of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We can think of this mental sense of perception, the mental realm of us, all of these parts and pieces that we create information out of. This information can be stored. But it isn't stored in our brains. Our brains are constantly functioning and flowing. Our experiences are actually stored in the body, in our cells, in the fibers of our being. This is where it's stored. It's perceived through the mind. When we think of the priestess or mother or queen archetype, we think of like the yin side of the yin yang. And when we have that partnered with swords, we can think of an embodiment of our mental capabilities. Really knowing and owning what we know. And allowing our experiences to bring us wisdom and insight. We'll take a deep breath. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together and drop the knees wide from side to side. You might keep the hands by the low body, but you are welcome to open up the arms from side to side with the palms facing up. this outstretched palm. And as you notice the palm lifting up to the air that is surrounding you, and the back of the hands on the floor, just feel that sense of groundedness. Let's allow any insights, any knowledge that we've received to be sent out. Allow our wisdom to be shared. What does communicating your experiences look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? A few more moments here. Good. 3 more breaths in Supta Baddha Konasana. Good. When you're ready, bring the knees back towards one another. Hug them into your chest. Good. In these next few moments, we can make any more movements that feel right for us. Whether it be a happy baby, a legs up the wall, maybe spinal twists from side to side. I'll give you about a minute here to make any last movements you want before you get to your final resting position of Shavasana. If you're ready for Shavasana now, just feel free, get right into it. And this pose can be on the back, or maybe it's on your side, or maybe your belly. Maybe you sit. However you want to close out practice, we'll get to it, but you can move around for a bit first. Good, and if you haven't gotten to there by now, we'll make our way to Shavasana, the final resting pose. However you chose to place your body, do a scan of it. And let's notice the very center of our forehead, the third eye. Noticing that region there. And simply bringing the awareness there might have softened the surrounding muscles. Might have brought awareness to the skin. Let's spread that awareness through the entire face and scalp, allowing our awareness to like enclose ourselves, filling the entire head, the jaw, the neck and throat, noticing your shoulders, downward and outward, the torso and the arms, all the way down to the hands. And then also noticing the entire torso to the hips, down the legs, through the knees, the lower limbs, ankles, feet. Really fully surrender and be in your being for the next couple minutes. We'll give ourselves another breath to bask in our practice. And begin to wake back up as you're ready. Bringing the movements wherever feels right. Building upon those movements without rushing yourself and with taking time to take care. Be tender and gentle. Recalling the imagery of the star. We will emerge from these waters, come into a seat when you're ready, like a throne embodying the Queen or Priestess of Swords, allowing our insight to lead us there. We can close out with one another and take time to get there. I'm not rushing you. Whenever you come to your seat, just noticing the top of the head, the neck, the shoulders, the side body, the hips, the legs. Just bring our hands together and rub our palms. Create a little more heat here. Good, and then stillness in the hands. Sit with that heat. Bring it to the heart. We'll close out with a deep, full Om. You can join me or receive it by listening. Let's inhale. Namaste. Thank you all.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Hope you all have a great evening. Bye bye.